as it's coming together, apart from the singles, what are the key tracks, or what's the points where you think, right, that's good because that gives us something else or opens up a different world to us?
Well, I had that listen the other week. Last week I was at my parents and I got sent a copy of the record, and I put it on, and you just realise the way it's structured, it just flows really well. I mean, things like Blue on there, which is brilliant.
It does now. How many different versions of the track listing was there? Come on.
Oh, good
How long
point.
did that take?
That is a good point. I remember doing something on a few occasions.
Everyone had a go at trying to put those songs in order.
Right, you're right. Well, they were all good, weren't they? They all worked.
Yes, it was just getting it in the right order. At one point, I think we were even farming it out to pulp or something.
Yeah, possibly.
Can you have a go?
I did have a go. I would have just started with the line-up and finished with line-up, you know.
Was Justine the boss in the studio?
No, I mean, it was we all had a key role to play, you know. It was a real key, but she had this vision about where she wanted this record to go.
I think that's possibly what I mean, because she obviously wanted desperately to get this right, and that's why. I mean, you recorded Line-Up about 3 times.
Must have done.
And
must have done.
And what I remember is having, a ton of cassettes, all with slightly different mixes on. Mm-hmm. I found this cassette earlier on, which is, it just says on it, Car Song. Do you want to know what's on this cassette? Car Song, track 1, John Leckie, version 1. Track 2, John Leckie, version 2.
Yeah.
Track 3, Martin Rushent, version 1, high vocals. Track 4, Martin Rushent, low vocals. Track 5, Martin Rushent, instrumental. Track 6, Alan Moulder. Everyone's had a go on this record.
And which one did we use in the end?
I've got no idea.
I think it was the original demo. It was. But we did that on every track, I think. It was always... If you look at the album, there's so many guys mixing it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
It had to be right.
For an album which is so immediate as well sounding, that sounds like you've sort of tried to do it live. Yeah. Actually, a lot of, but you want to create that sort of, to create this great,
I'd love to hear those different mixes.
Fizzy pop record. I'll do you a copy of this as well. Write us a list. So there were 2 singles in 1994. Mm-hmm. Waking Up comes out just before the album, and this is obviously, there's a real sense of anticipation then, isn't there? And you do Top of the Pops around that point, so the excitement is starting to build, I imagine, around the camp at that point, just before the album's out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great single. It's a great single, mixed with Mitty doing it. Mitty worked for the BBC for a long, long time. He just got it so right with that single, and it's built. It's building. By that point, I think I don't know. I think we were ready.
Yeah. The week before, I think the week of release or week before the release, we ran 4 nights around the album on the evening session, doing a sort of Mr. and Mrs. thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Basically, it was each member of the band answering questions about somebody else in the band.
Yeah, right.
Okay. This is one of the cassettes which we found.
Okay. All right, then we better go into our list of questions. Tonight it's Justin on Justine. So, Justine, you have to leave the room.
Okay, then.
Sorry about that.
See you in a minute.
Later.
Okay, so Justine out of the room, and these are the questions then. Where does Justine sit on the tour bus? Does she have a regular seat?
Justin usually sits probably in the most comfiest one, usually at the front, actually.
Usually,
there's a lot more leg room than the rest in the back, so it's usually the front.
So what was the first poster, do you think, that Justine put on her bedroom wall?
Justine's first poster would be Adam and the Ants.
Do you reckon? Adam and the Ants will write down for that then. That's certainly a good guess, if nothing else. What's Justine's favourite item of clothing?
A ripped jeans, I would have thought, and a Doc Martens.
Right. Which colour Doc Martens?
Black.
Right, the black ones.
17,000 holes or something. Steel toe caps.
Right. And finally, who does Justine most admire? Careful.
Marquis Smith.
Marquis Smith.
That's one.
Right. Marquis Smith will put down his answers.
You're writing the answers down.
Yeah, I was writing the answers down at the time.
I was going to say.
And how do you think you did? Can you remember?
I'm a bit unsure about the first one now. I think I'm quite happy with the other answers. 3 out of 4.
One of the questions that she was asked about you was, what's the first single that Justin bought? And I think she said The Jam, but the first single you ever bought was?
it was Rat Trap by the Boomtown Rats.
But apparently, according to that interview, not the first single you owned.
No, it wasn't the first single.
Which was?
Bright Eyes.
I thank you.
Simon and Garfunkel, that's fine.
And
or was it just Art Garfunkel? Wasn't it?
yeah, just the art.
That's just the art.
So those were your answers to our questions. These are the answers according to Justine.
Justine's back in the studio now. And where do you sit on the tour bus was the first question we asked. Where do you sit, you personally?
I always sit in the front.
The comfiest seats. Yes, at the front.
At the front.
Is that because you're the leader of the group?
Yes.
There is some sort of
It's my
hierarchy.
birthright to sit in the most comfortable seat.
All right, well, that's the correct answer, actually. Does anyone ever try and take it off you?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, we do take it in turns occasionally.
But only very occasionally.
Very occasionally. You got more bags than everyone else. As
Yes.
well, so.
No, and I'm the only person that can read a map. So.
Brilliant. What was the first poster Justine put on her bedroom wall?
Truthfully, it was Charlie's Angels, but I bet you didn't say that.
No, he didn't say
say that,
Charlie's
no.
Angels. What was the sort of first pop band?
I reckon Blondie.
Blondie. Wrong.
Wrong, eh?
Justin said Adam and the Ants.
Oh, no, I actually never had a poster of
I thought
them.
you did.
No.
Oh,
Sorry
did you
about
have a
that.
Bow Wow Wow poster?
I did, yes.
What's,
that's what I was going to say, see.
It was her dressed all in black with sort of blonde hair, looking absolutely gorgeous.
Did your parents say you can't put blue tack on the wall or
No,
anything?
no, they didn't mind about blue tack, luckily.
What's Justine's favourite item of clothing?
My leather jacket. My boots! Oh!
Oh, can I accept the second answer? Yeah.
I did say your jeans
join
as well.
first.
Actually,
That was
your
join
jeans
first.
as well. You do quite like.
Yeah, Justin said ripped jeans and the DMs, the black DMs.
I don't
not
like
the old...
them ripped, but I can't repair them, and I'm very attached to them. I've tried sewing them up, but they just fall to bits again. No, I prefer them unripped, in fact.
But it's the leather jacket, which you've had for quite a while.
I have. It was passed on to me by my uncle Louis.
Is he the same uncle who did the Benny Hill thing?
No, that's Uncle David.
Oh, right.
Hang on, hold on.
He's got some uncles.
Just before we go on to question 5, one of your uncles did the Benny Hill theme tune?
Yes.
Right. What question 5? Who does Justine most admire? The uncle who wrote the Benny Hill theme tune.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to be mimed to me, but I don't think it's going to be.
I don't believe this anyway.
It's
Can I have a clue?
Can you have a clue?
Can I have a male or female?
You can have a mailer. Yeah.
A mailer. It's Marquis Smith, though.
Marquis
That's a
Smith.
great clue.
That was the best clue I could
Yeah.
give. Marquis Smith is what
Yeah,
he said.
that was
Marquis
easy.
Smith.
Director.
Because.
Because he has the gait of a true Englishman.
And some top songs as well. Good new album as well, which
Yeah.
John Peel's been playing
Superb.
recently.
I've forgotten about Benny Hill.
That's brilliant.
I've forgotten all about it. What's it?
Brilliant.
What's
You
it?
did give it away a little bit though, Steve, at the end there. Though,
Yeah, I
with
did.
the markers,
Yeah, I was
didn't
helping.
You did help me.
I was
thank you.
helping. What's it been like revisiting the records and meeting up with your old band members as well? I saw the picture, which caused quite a lot of fuss online, of course, with Donna and Annie when you were cutting the record. What was it like?
It's been great. We haven't spoke to each other for many, many years. You know, we've all kind of gone off and lived our lives away from the band, but it's surprising really how much love there has been for the band. And when we all got back in touch, it's as if we haven't not spoken to each other for years. You know, there's been a lot of fun banter. We've had some business stuff to sort out, but it's been great. It's been really good. I mean, that meeting at Abbey Road, it was a shame Justine couldn't come along. She would have loved it. But it wasn't meant to be anything other than us just meeting up for a cup of tea. You know, Beggars had said they're going to cut the record at Abbey Road, and I just thought it'd be a nice suggestion to throw it out there for everyone. Would everyone who wants to come along? And of course, everyone jumped at it, and it was blown out of proportion upon the band's getting back together again.
But the records, which is out next week, it's not exactly the same as the original, but it's close, but more collectible still. There's a different flexi-disc.
There is.
The flexi-disc with the original was a version of Cleopatra by Adam and the Ants. The new flexi-disc, what's that?
We've got In the City. We're using In the City from the Peel sessions, and so it was on a black flexi before. It's on a red flexi. So and you know, anyone who's a record collecting fan, flexi discs are partly ridiculous, but also at the same time, great things to have.
Yeah.
So yes, like the rest of it is the same. It's on heavyweight vinyl. It's a great album, and
still is. I think.
It sounds good.
As I say, I'm obviously biased, but the thing about the record was, you add up all the tracks like Blue, 2 to 1, things which were curveballs like Indian Song.
Yeah,
there was a lot on this record,
and it's still probably under 50 minutes, right?
Yeah, I haven't timed it for a while. I know this though. We always had this conversation that this was too good to be a single. This track, and weirdly, from that same interview from 1995, which we just played a clip of, when asked to choose a track from the record, you chose this one.
I did.
Yeah,
I do remember doing that.
It's deja vu. We've seen this all before. Justin, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
from the Elastica debut album. Not their biggest song, but still one of their best. This is Never Here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's one of the releases next week for Record Store Day. It's the same sleeve, and there's the fanzine, the flex, and the flexi inside. Although, as Justin was saying, a different track on it, very collectible. From the first Elastica album, that was a track called Never Here.
Six Music. This is BBC Radio 6 Music.